So, we are going shopping in Brazil. This is probably the second or third time that we've gone to the grocery store, and we just go right around the corner to Heiji Meeks. And you're going to see us stop into an organic store. I believe it's called Organi, and it had like dried nuts and fruits and candy and like real hip, okay? Nothing actually valuable. There was no castor oil. There was like no oregano oil. There was nothing really. Okay. Just good treats that were healthy. So after we went there, we went into Heiji Makes, and I was surprised to realize that this store was also kind of expensive. Now, the first grocery store we went to was just altogether bougie. And that store was called Super Deal or something, Hyper Deal or something like that. And honey, the prices were hyper and hyped up. I couldn't really find anything relaxed. There was just everything in the store was something you could put on a charcuterie board. Okay, that was it. So coming to Heiji Mix, I saw more variety. However, things were still kind of on the expensive side to me as a person who does grocery shop. In America, I would normally buy groceries every 2 weeks from Costco, get it delivered to my house. I am not a let's go to the grocery store girly. I'm not going to the grocery store every day, every other day, or once a week. Like, even that is too much. I don't want to go inside of a grocery store. I think grocery stores are ghetto. And you're probably thinking, no, girl, you just go to ghetto grocery stores. And that's not true because Costco just isn't ghetto, and that's the only place you will see me inside of. But seriously, since the pandemic, um, like nobody even works at the grocery store anymore. So I just don't enjoy going there because there's no one there but me and all the other shoppers. There's nobody that works there, and I just don't understand it. And it's oftentimes just extremely unorganized. And maybe it just reminds me of COVID time. I don't know, but I don't want to go there. So going into the grocery store, I noticed a lot of things about shopping in Brazil. How I figured that things were expensive because just like in America, you're not going to leave the house in Brazil and spend less than 100 reais, okay? Now, mind you, 100 reais is the equivalent to 19 US dollars today, okay? Now, when you're dealing with currency conversions, you are going to check your currency conversion every day because it is going to fluctuate. But I noticed that you're not going to be able to buy hardly anything without it being $100 in Brazil. Soap is 20 reais, okay? I've seen cereal is 15 reais, okay? Um Chicken nuggets is 29 reais. So you can just imagine how it adds up in that way, but it's okay for me because I am converting it to American dollars. 1 real is a little more than 5 US dollars. So for me, it's wonderful, but you can imagine if you are a Brazilian earning reais every day, how problematic and troublesome that would be. I also noticed the fact that everything was smaller. They do not have big giant anything. Okay, where I currently am right now in Marau, which is a peninsula in the state of Bahia, you cannot buy a case of anything. You can't buy a pack of ice cream bars. You can't buy a pack of anything. The only packs you can buy of stuff is crackers. That's it. You can buy bags of cookies, the chips, like there's only half chips, the rest is air. Like everything is much, much smaller. And it led me to originally think, well, that's because of the economy. That would immediately tell me that people in the area cannot afford full size items. And just having had so much experience in sales, marketing, also just visual merchandising, you can tell um, what type of economy you're in based on just going to the grocery store. Okay. So I'm going to point out some pros and cons about being in Brazil and shopping in Brazil for groceries. So, one pro is going to be you have access to higher quality fruits and vegetables, higher quality meat. Everything that is available is of a higher quality. Normally, when you go to the grocery store, you can also get fresh baked bread. Okay, there's cheese, there's access to meat that hasn't been frozen. All of the chicken I've seen has been frozen though, so obviously that's not something that they do or eat a lot of. We're in Brazil, so chorizo is a big deal, and that's beef. Brazilian barbecue is going to be beef. It's not going to be chicken, so nobody's worried about chicken. So for me, a con is going to be the fact that inflation is high here in recent years, and that makes the quantities of things smaller. I told you already, I'm not a person that likes to go to the grocery store, but here in Marau, it's very, very convenient to get food. Now, me and my daughter, we did the whole let's go walk to the grocery store and get groceries and walk all the way back with all of our bags just to see the area. We did that. Honey, you can order your groceries here in Maru, and that's exactly what we do. I get a list. I text the guy. I text him. It's the same man each time. And, he asks me a lot of questions for clarification, and he brings the food in under 20 minutes. Normally under 10, okay? It's very convenient here. There's a laundromat that's near me. There's many smaller markets and stores. I go to get my favorite fruits from this lady down the road. Like it's extremely convenient. So Meadow is very, very convenient, and I do enjoy that. But the thing about living in Meadow is that there's even less of different types of food. Like, for instance, I don't think I have seen flour here in Brazil the entire time I have been here. And that's because that is not a grain that they eat really like that. They eat a lot of tapioca, other grains. One is made from cassava leaf. So things like that, that's something that as a Black American, I haven't seen no fried chicken wings. I haven't seen any chicken wings. I just saw frozen chicken wings at the store today. But there's no flour. There's only really one or two types of cheese I've seen. I've seen Parmesan. I have seen Monsieur, I think. I have seen other types of cheese, but none of them are yellow. Which makes me think, obviously, like Colby and I don't know about cheese. But I do know I need American cheese to make macaroni and cheese. And that's why it's like, oh, wow, American cheese is really only for Americans. That's crazy. Haven't seen any greens. Like, there's just stuff that I have not seen. When I was in Salvador, I did see mushrooms, I think, at some point. They were like big oyster mushrooms. So there are things, but because I am on a peninsula, I have limited access to certain types of food. But every type of food that I have is high quality, is delicious, and it really just nourishes my body. Of course, when you're shopping under these sorts of terms and conditions, with packaging being smaller, it forces you to save money at that time, but you are shopping more often. And when you do that, it does allow you to say, hey, for the next 2 days, because if I get a bag of okra today, it's only going to last me for no more than 4 days. In that span, I have to cook the food that I have because there's no pesticides, there's limited chemicals, there's no preservatives in the food. So I only have a certain amount of time to eat this food. And I'm gonna have this for dinner, I'm gonna have this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The next day, this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The next day, and the next day, and then I will need to go to the store again. The one plus for me is that I do like to cook, so it has pushed me outside of my comfort zone and allowed me to find recipes for things that are new that I would like, and also things that I normally would eat, but I need to put a different spin on it because of the region that I'm in. And also, it does allow me to tap into foods that I feel like feed my soul, awaken my memory, and allow me to share those traditions with my daughter. Now, like, okay, last week when I was spazzing out about how we didn't have chicken wings, I was getting to my wits end, okay? I made lentil soup, and that really just made me feel really good. Another time I just made like white beans, like how your grandma would make, and just a lot of foods have been bringing me back to my childhood, back to just moments in time that feel good. And that does help when maybe I'm feeling a little lonely or I haven't talked to another adult all day. Food can really bring you into a positive place. It can also create a feeling of instability and just like, oh my God, I don't have access to this or this or this. It can also affect you mentally. And I would say that it has, like, living in Mataru, that is the one real con, is the food selection and availability. Like, I'm just used to eating a lot of different food as well. Like, I eat a lot of Thai food. I think there's one Thai restaurant here and we have not visited yet. Just, I'm used to food that I eat at home. So adapting and getting used to food in your region is extremely important. And overall, I would say that for me, as an American, I realized even more now that we live in such extreme excess, right? I go to Costco, I buy a box of 150 fruit snacks. Why? You're going to eat that box of fruit snacks until you get tired of it, and then you're going to leave it in the pantry with all the other old food and come back to it in a few weeks. Like, it makes you see how much preservatives are in the food, because there's no way you should be able to do that. Okay? There's just no way. And I find myself just wanting more stuff just to have for later, when it's really like, I don't actually need that stuff. My taste buds are going to change. So that has been my experience overall shopping in Brazil, in Salvador, and Manaus. I am in Barra Grande, which is a smaller township or neighborhood in Manaus, and it has been an extreme pleasure living here. We have a groundskeeper. Every week somebody comes and delivers new towels and sheets, and we have access to the beach. It's 10 minutes away, probably less. We have access to amazing food. We live in a really nice area, so if you walk into town a little bit, there's like outdoor mall and plaza and stuff like that. So I do love Barra Grande. I definitely recommend it to any and everybody. And what you're seeing is a bit of Salvador.